Well, Kevin Rudd and Tony Abbott are feeling the heat this morning following embarrassing gaffes from both leaders. Kokoda veterans have labelled comments by the Prime Minister during his visit to Papua New Guinea disrespectful and stupid. For more, we're joined by political reporter Kerry Yaxley in Canberra. Kerry, what exactly did Mr Rudd say?
Well, Georgie, he was talking about the bond that Australians feel with PNG, referring to the 3,000 or so Aussies who walk the Kokoda track every year. Now, Mr Rudd himself famously did Kokoda back in 2006 with Joe Hockey. And yesterday, during a joint press conference with PNG's Prime Minister, Mr Rudd referred to himself as a Kokoda survivor. Now, of course, in World War II, many Australians were killed along the Kokoda track during fierce fighting with Japanese troops or from diseases like malaria. And this morning, News Limited is quoting two veterans describing Mr Rudd's comments as stupid and disrespectful. Here is what the PM said.
Australians themselves have a huge soft spot for this country. With 3,000 Australians doing the Kokoda track each year, I was one of them way back then, and I'm a survivor of the Kokoda track.
Now, as for Tony Abbott, he's come under fire from the government and from climate change experts after he described an emissions trading scheme as a market scheme in the non-delivery of an invisible substance to no one. And Mr Abbott is finding it a little more difficult to use his famous and very effective line, great big new tax on everything, because Kevin Rudd has confirmed he's going to scrap the carbon tax and move to an ETS 1 year ahead of schedule. Here is Tony Abbott.
A market in the non-delivery of an invisible substance to no one.
OK, now to another issue, Kerry. It seems Indonesia is now open to discussing the coalition's plans to turn back asylum seeker boats. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, this is a big positive for the coalition. The Indonesian Foreign Minister, who was in Australia yesterday, said that his government would be willing to discuss the controversial policy. Now, this was a Howard-era policy where the Navy would turn asylum seeker boats back, possibly to Indonesia, which is where they often go to get on the boats. Now, recently, when Kevin Rudd was in Indonesia, the president there warned against unilateral action, and some took that to be a criticism of Mr Abbott's tow back the boats policy. But confirmation that Indonesia is willing to discuss it is very, very good news for the coalition. Not so good news for the government, Georgie.
All right. Kerry Yaxley, thank you.